we can pop this off. Sway bar link that I mentioned was broken. Alright, so we got that off. Oh, there's aluminum rims under a hubcap. How dumb.
Welcome back to Bustin' Nut Garage,
where I save vehicles one nut at a time. I'm Nathan, and this is my garage. So, what I usually do is I buy cars that are broken or need work off of auctions, sometimes marketplace, and then I fix all the issues to make them roadworthy, and then I flip them for profit. So I'm gonna take you along on this journey. That's what this new YouTube channel is. I had an older one quite a while ago, but I got rid of that one. It was for a previous business, which I no longer have because I sold it. So yeah, so I currently have 3 vehicles right now. The first couple videos here are probably gonna have some from each vehicle because I'm mid fixing all of them. But in the future, it'll be 1 video per car kind of deal, I think. That should be good. Yeah, a little experience from me. I originally went to college for auto body. Learned how to fix dents, paint cars, rust repair, all that. That was back in like 2005 to 2007. I was in the military for 11 years. And then I went back to college, kind of while I was in the military. It was like all at the same time. And I decided to get my auto mechanics degree. So I have a degree in auto body and auto mechanics. Worked in the quick lube shops, worked in Ford dealership, worked in a transmission shop, kind of all around. Worked for a company rebuilding robot stuff. So I did all that. You know, you get paid to do some work. It's not great, but whatever. But I found now that I actually make more money by buying the cars, doing the work myself, and selling it, rather because mechanic shops are so expensive these days. And a lot of the times the people they have running them don't know what they're doing. So they try to get the least experienced person for the least $1 an hour amount, and then say, hey, fix this. And then they fix some and doesn't even fix it. So I'm not like that. I like quality. So I like to do everything the right way, detail the car, get it nice and ready for the road, and then sell it to someone so they have a dependable vehicle. So that's what this channel's for. I'm gonna bring you with along the way, how I inspect the cars, what I fix. If it's broken, it needs to get fixed. If it's worn, we'll see. So there's a safely worn, and then there's unsafe, and we make everything safe. So it's better than somebody who's buying a car off an auction and then bringing it home and selling it on Facebook an hour later and being like, oh yeah, it just doesn't like run or something, you know. And then they want a bunch of money for it and they don't even fix it. So I don't like that. But anyways, let's get to it. So this is the first car we're gonna do some work on today. I got this one, I think about a week ago off the auction. I'll put the price I paid in the video. I think I got it for $900, I think, before fees and delivery. But it's a 2014 Chevy Cruze with a 1.4 liter Ecotec turbo motor. Couple things as we walk around. It's got a slight dent there. I think I can either push that out or pull it out. You can kind of see it real good right there. It's no paint crack or creases, so it should pop right out. Does have typical scuffs around on the hood and everything, and bugs. The mirror was broken, so I took it off and waited for the new one to arrive. I just had the hole taped up because I had it outside. And this one, it's pretty clean because I've already detailed it before I fixed it. Before I did other repairs because I had time to wait for parts. But I mean, it's a sharp looking car. Nice red. It's got the chrome trim. The trunk, let's see here. This trunk I got from a junkyard. I'll show you the other one. This one has some slight hail damage. I don't know if you can see it. The slight hail damage, some scratches from the manhandling it at the junkyard. But I got it buffed out a little. Looks better than it was when I got it. So I replaced the trunk. I replaced this tail light here, was cracked. So I got one of those from the junkyard. It was missing the spare tire. So I got one of those. So I got the trunk for $60, which was a deal. I got the spare tire for $30 and it's brand new. Ooh, it's hot in here. This was just outside and it's like 90-some degrees out. But it's a lot of people selling cars. They don't even go through this amount of work, but I got the new spare tire. There was a mouse nest under here, which I knew in the pictures. You can see can't even see the lights ain't working here. You can trust me, there's a mouse nest there. Or there was. And they ate a little bit of the insulation, but I took all that out, stripped the whole trunk, disinfected it, cleaned it, put the new trunk thing on there. Got a free mat with the floor mats I bought. So that's good to go. I think this is the one I took off. Yeah, look at this. Oh, there's aluminum rims under a hubcap. How dumb. But these dang GM aluminum rims are all corroded, so like the hubcap gets corroded, the rims get corroded. Now you just got two crappy looking things. But I tried to shine it up some. I got these two kind of shined, you could see. But it took a lot of work, so it's not worth my time. But it's got some good tires on it. I did shine this back here by hand. Look at that, it's like a mirror now. So this side looks pretty good too, except for, you see right down there, looks like somebody hopped a curb and bent it all in. So I don't know if I'm gonna replace the rocker or if I'm just gonna put some red paint on it so it doesn't rust. Clean it up and paint it. I don't know, it depends the value and if it's worth my time or not. It's not a safety issue, it's just a visual issue. So I don't know yet. I'm still waiting. But yeah, here's the other interior, other side. So when I took the mouse nest out of the trunk, I found there was some little like shavings on side here. So I ended up stripping out all the seats, all the carpet, all the middle of the dash, cleaned everything out, vacuumed it, disinfected everything, pressure washed all the interior, scrubbed it with soap, pressure washed it again, dried it, put it all back in here. And it looks pretty good. I don't think anyone sat in the rear seat. Well, the front seats, you can see they still got some like stains or, I don't know, you can kind of see it on camera there. There's some light spots because it's black, but I couldn't get them out even with a pressure washer, so I don't know. But this one has low miles. Well, I guess it isn't low, it's medium miles, 157. So, and it runs good. So I got no lights on the dash, just my seatbelt because it's not plugged in. Now I'll show you what I did so far. So I usually only buy cars that have a good Carfax, have a clean title, and have a pretty decent maintenance history. So on this one, the check engine light was on with a PO 420 code, which is usually an oxygen sensor or catalytic converter's bad. And as you can see, this looks pretty new. And this here looks newer. It's got some shiny bolts. So the turbo was actually replaced on this one. And I think the cap might have been replaced too. But what they did is they left all this extra O2 sensor wiring just over here by the fan. So the fan just rubbed it and broke them all. So that was the check engine light. Was that one? Or there's 3 broken wires in there. I had to add a little bit of coolant because the coolant was it was a little low, but it's up there now. I haven't detailed under the hood because I need to do some oil leak work. And the air filter on this one was surprisingly clean. So I didn't have to replace it, which is usually I always have to. Alright, so it has a bit of seepage right along the valve cover or cam cover, whatever they call it on this. There's a little bit, but it's not too bad. When you go over here, it's a lot worse. So, see there's some right there, and on the bottom of these solenoids, it's all over the bottom of them there. Same with that one there. So there's a seal inside these solenoids between this and the head, and they tend to leak over time. So I got a new O-ring for each of these, and then I got a new valve cover gasket. The PCV valve system's still working on good on this one, which is usually a common problem. So I'm not replacing the whole valve cover because it's still good. The other ghetto kind of thing they got going on here is, well, see, the belt's got some cracks down there, but also it's pretty small. It's a 4-rib belt. It's supposed to be 6 ribs. So the belt they put on is not as wide as it's supposed to be, which is kind of dumb. I don't know if they were cheap or what, because you got to take that motor mount right here off to get the belt off. So somebody went through the work of putting a tiny belt on it. But I'm going to take that off. I got a new one coming. I think it'll be here in a couple days. So we'll replace the belt and the O-rings and the valve cover seal or gasket. And then put the mirror on. And this one bumper here, I got to touch up a little paint there, clean that up. This one doesn't stay in, so I'm going to loosen that and see if I can get it to sit flush. And the other thing was the inside of this reeked like cigarettes, which I didn't know when I bought it because they didn't mention that. So I put a ozone generator. If you haven't seen one of those, this is what it is right here. Just a little box. You put it on however long timer you want, and it lights up in there and makes ozone gas, which then I guess kills bacteria and stuff or something. I don't know. Somehow it makes some gas and it reeks, so you can't be in there. You gotta have the windows up. And then I ran that in there twice, and it ain't too bad now, but it'll remove any odors and smells. So we're gonna let it air out for a bit. Oh, the other thing was this window wasn't connected. The glass was not hooked up to the mounts on the motor when I got it. So it does work now, but I might have to take it off, and I think I didn't get it in the little groove there because it comes up weird, so I'm gonna have to fix that. But that is the 2014 Chevy Cruze. Book value on this one, I'm gonna list it for $4,600. Has a clean title. Once I get everything done with it, the only flaw it'll have will be this rocker down there, which I don't know yet. But yeah, surprisingly, I think most of the other stuff is good. So that is the overview for this car. So let's do some work on it. so we got that off. See if we can take a look-see here. So this is where your PCV valve vents. So if yours quits working, usually this gets gummed up with carbon in here. And you can actually chisel the carbon out and it will go down through the oil dipstick tube. And then just make sure you change your oil after that. But this one actually doesn't look too bad. This is just silicone I got to clean off, which is where the timing cover and the head meet. You got to silicone that little spot there and a little spot up there. Yeah, so the two solenoids we're going to take out, you can see the inside of it here. But this one comes off and that one comes off. We'll put the O-rings in there. As for sludge, there's a little bit of buildup over here. What's this thing looking? Build up right there. I'm going to try to chisel that off with a screwdriver and a little bit in the corner here. A little bit right there. But other than that, like here, under here, it all looks good. We can look at our cam journals here. They look pretty good. Don't see any bunch of wear or anything weird. No pitting. So that means this engine is pretty healthy. Just needs a good cleaning. We can also see the top timing chain guide here. You can see it's got a little crack right there, but it's still solid. Timing chain definitely doesn't have any slack in it, so we can say that's good. I won't see any reason why we need to change that. Now, if this was broken and this was loose, then yeah, we'd replace that. But no need to. It seems like it's running just fine here. So we're fixing everything that's broken. So that's what our goal is. Oh, also on this one, it had an evap code. So this is the purge solenoid, evap solenoid. Something to do with when you're driving down the road, it purges gas from the gas or pressure from the gas tank into the engine and it burns it so your gas tank don't like balloon up. So I had a code for that, very common failure. Got this one off Amazon. I'll put the exact price on the screen, but I think it was around like $15 to $20 or something. You get this valve here, this hose all the way over to here. You just pinch this, pop it off, and you undo this red clip right here, and then slide that one off, undo the wire connector, pops off, and you just replace it. So super easy. Yeah, and these take what is it, these weird Torx E10, so external torque. I think that's what the E is for, E. And then the other one is for the coil. Let's see if I get it. T30. So I'm going to clean up any silicone that's in here. Lose my screws. Ooh, look at, there's some junky sludge right here by the PCV. So this is the built-in PCV in here. Not sure how it works, but somehow it vents. So if you're having issues, the little hole right there, if yours is bad, when it's running, that'll be sucking air. If it's sucking air and you put your finger over it and you can feel it sucking, or a piece of paper, you know that that's bad. And just replace this whole valve cover. You can get a whole new one off Amazon for about 40 bucks. They also make aluminum ones you can replace it with so they don't warp. I've used both work, so it's up to you. But I'm just gonna clean up the gasket surface and then clean this up a bit and put the new gasket on, a little bit of silicone in those two spots, and we'll put it back together. right, time to torque these to 71 inch-pounds. In a crisscross pattern, apparently. So if you saw me kind of filing a little bit, somebody previously that worked on this car took the valve cover off and they wedged a screwdriver in here and just dinged up the mating surface. So I filed it down flat and then added just a little bit of silicone because there's a little divot still from the previous person. But that should, it was right in the middle, so silicone will fill that in and it should seal no problem. Make sure I didn't miss any. Oh, see, I missed one. That's why we double check. Now we'll put the coil back on, which is just one giant coil that runs all four of these. So when it goes bad, you get lots of misfires. And I can tell somebody's had this off because the safety, there's usually a red safety clip here, and it's gone. So somebody that, you know, is doing work probably. And then we just push all these wire looms back in here. So the next thing I'm gonna do is take off those two solenoids and change out those gaskets, which are right here. GM ones, I actually got these from Amazon. So they're just these like fat O-ring things that are tapered on both sides. So the torque spec on these is 71 inch-pounds, or 8 to 10 Newton meters apparently. They're called the camshaft actuator solenoids. So there we go. So we got all those oil leaks fixed. Took me what, 10 minutes, 15 minutes? So we got that done. The last thing I need to do is put on the correct width serpentine belt and fix the driver's window. But we're gonna do those tomorrow because it is hot. You can see I'm sweating. Don't mind this. This is from my dog. I was playing with her and she has like a giant mouth and she went clamp, bit my head. So it's all good. But yeah, this is easy. Anyone can do this on your own with literally that Torx bit and that e-Torx bit. So if you would have brought this to a dealership, I guarantee you they would have charged you at least $400. So I'll see you in a second. Welcome back, guys. It's a new day. Finally getting around to doing some stuff here. We got some parts from good old Amazon Rainforest. We got a backup camera for the Ram, so we can replace that. Some batteries for the Buick's key fobs, because they're both dead. I got a new air filter and cabin filter for the Buick. So this, I think, was around like 25 bucks, which is crazy. This here, I got like a whole sheet of them for, I don't know, 8 bucks, 9 bucks or something. So those are like 50 cents a piece. Got the air filter and the cabin filter for $21 or $21.99 for a pack. Dealership will charge you $70 just for the cabin filter to be put in. Ridiculous. The belt I showed you the other day for the Cruze we got to put in. Apparently I ordered front brake pads for the Cruze, so I got to get those in. And the broken mirror, I got a new one. But as you see, this one is black because I couldn't get a red one on Amazon. That one's a red, so I think I'm gonna go get some red spray paint. Just spray paint this one. Make it match. If it looks like crap, I'll just spray paint the other than both black. So let's see how this works. Let's put the mirror on first. Do the quick jobs.
Alright, let's get this done. There's just 3 bolts that hold it in here. And then just plug it in. And it should work. I gotta pop out the one green piece that's still stuck in the door here. Okay, and you just give it a tappy tap back in place.
Look at that. That's 100 times better. Well worth the 25 bucks for a new camera. That's crazy. Alright, we're back to working on the Cruze. We need to put some front brake pads and sway bar links because one is broken on the passenger side. If you guys don't have quick jacks, if you have a garage where you can't put a lift like mine, I got these quick jacks. They're $1,800 brand new. I got these on Marketplace for around 800 bucks. So the guy got them from only used them twice. They're sweet. But you can lift it about 2 feet in the air. And they got a locking position right here. So it's about 1 foot. And then when you go all the way, it's about 2 feet. And then you lock it in place by lowering it down on these locks. That way it doesn't fall when you're working on it. Okay. Let out all the pressure. Now it's good to go. The only thing is they take up some space, so I added these wheels on to try to make them slide around. They have these ones that you can like pick up the other end and then like trolley it, if you know what I mean. But that's still kind of a pain because these don't turn. So I put these ones on so I can slide it back and forth under the car. But apparently the other side, 2 of them broke already. So I don't know. But, you know, it works. Make sure it won't fall. We're good. So I'll get you set up in the tripod, and then I'll show you one side, and then I'll just do the other side. Because it's the same. So let's go. So we're going to do the sway bar, which is right here. Sway bar link. You can see in there. It's plastic. This one isn't broken, but the other side is. So I'm going to spray some good old nut juice here. Because I'm sure that won't come off easily. It's rusty. And then we got to take off for the brake pads, just the caliper bolts. There's 2 of them right here. So I give them a little bit of nut juice. There we go. Make life easier. So lug nuts are 19. That is an 18. There's that one. This one is on the other side. It's hard to see. 10 millimeter. I think we're just spinning there. See if we can loosen the caliper bolts here.
That one good. Pop this up, get the rope. Of course not. Why would we make room for you to get that? You get a smaller socket. Other tool brands have that, but like if you bought Craftsman back in the day, they won't warranty it anymore because they got bought out by Mars. So even though something says lifetime warranty, it's not always lifetime. I put this on, the nut. Then we gotta put this on to hold the stud because otherwise it's spinning. So let's see. There we go.
That's why we call it Bust-A-Nut Garage.
Now that's for the other one, which is the opposite direction. So facing towards the engine over here. That one is stuck. Alright. Let's try to make a maneuver somehow. I know you can't see this, but you know what I'm doing. There we go. I either got it to spin or I got it to the whole thing to spin. Alright, let's put this in here. So I got the ratchet with the Torx leaning against the sway bar. And then I got the wrench hit with the hammer, releasing the nut.
Oh yeah, busted another nut.
Alright, now I gotta get this out of there. Oops. This one, the strut is pushing down, which is forcing it down, and the bottom one's forcing it up from the sway bar. That's not sketchy at all. At least I'm lifting the suspension up so I can make this come out maybe. Got that one out. Come on, dirty girl. I like how they have like a boot here, like, oh, this is a great boot. Nothing even in there, just air. But much more firm than the other one, so. Of course, it's made out of plastic. As you know, plastic will. I think that nut is actually a little bit smaller than 19. We'll torque those when I'm ready. Put that back down. We got new hardware. Usually the old stuff is crusty. We got new brake pads.
And if they have the little squeaker bar on it, that goes on the inside. I'm gonna just check for leaks. It's all dry here. I don't see anything. We need to push that piston back in. Brake fluid reservoir cap, make it loose. So the pressure going in doesn't pop it up or spill it over. There we go. This is just a tool that you put in there, and then as you crank this, it'll spread it so it'll force the piston back in. Unless you have a newer car, then you might have to use a scan tool to retract the piston so you don't wreck it. It should just go freely like this. If you're getting lots of resistance, stop and Google it. Otherwise, you could break something, or some of the cars like a Ford, you have to have a special tool that goes in and turns it to retract it. But these ones are easy, you just crank it in. Much more space for the big new brake pads. So once it's snug, we just take this off. Leave it chill there. There's the old one. So yeah, they were definitely worn out. So it caught them just in time. Same with the inside one. That one is pretty worn out too. You can see how rusty it is. So it had the squeaker on it, but it didn't reach it yet, but it was close. So it's pretty much like falling apart. I'll just pop off these old clips. If there's a lot of rust in here, you might want to clean it up or take it off and grind it, but these ones are pretty good. We're also going to lube up these pins here because they're a little stiff. And make sure that the rotor is even in between here, so one isn't rubbing on the rotor, because otherwise you're going to get an awful noise. Take a little brake parts lubricant, it's synthetic grease. And just lube up those slides a little bit. Don't get it on the rotor though. Just want it where the brake pad touches, so that it doesn't rust and seize up and then quit moving, and then your brakes don't release. All right, let's take these pins out. Oh yeah, you can see that one's quite dry there. It's supposed to be nice and lubricated, but this one is not. So I'll show you what we're going to do with it. We're going to take the boot off. Remember which way it goes. So the little ribbed part goes towards the end of it. And I'm going to run this on a wire wheel. Get it cleaned up. See, all the corrosion's off, nice and clean. And then we're gonna put some of the same synthetic brake parts grease on here. Don't put it on the end because that'll cause it not to go in all the way. Now I'll put this back on, which then just squeezed all my grease out. So put a little bit more. Once these dry up, they don't really move very well, and then your brakes don't work. And these sometimes have a rubber O-ring on them, so I try to only do them one at a time so I don't get them mixed up. Because if you put them in the wrong hole, they aren't going to work. Just make sure that rubber ring there seals, and then move it back and forth, and it should go freely. Just like that. See, this one has a rubber ring, so that's why you got to make sure. This one definitely isn't as dried up as the other one, though. Now, if you see that the rubber part on some of these is kind of swelled up and it won't fit in the hole here, it should just slide right in. If it won't fit in, you probably want to replace them because sometimes they swell up over time. And then you'll be trying to put it in, and then it'll actually like slip off and not be in its right position. So, got that one in there, all good. We're gonna put these brake pads in. Sometimes these need to be ground down on the edges because they need to move freely. If you have to hammer it in, they aren't gonna move when you try to use it. So let's see how these do. Yeah, that one's not going in. See, the new one is a little too long right there. So I'm gonna have to shave the top and the bottom a little bit to make them even. So that's the difference between someone who cares if they work and someone who's just slapping pads in and sending it on its way and trying to do as fast a work as possible. This way you won't have any issues when you push your brakes. Why do you not want to go in your hole? Yeah, that one's snapped in, but see, this one can move nice and free. This one, not so much, so I don't like the way that's in there. I'm gonna grind a little bit more off. All right, let's try it again. There we go. All right, see? Those are definitely gonna work good. So, got them in there. Put this back on. Put our 2 screws back in. Alright, let me look up the torque specs on Google quick. It's 21 foot-pounds for the caliper pins, and then it's, 21 and 48 for the sway bar link. We're gonna give that the good old hammer torque. Oh, wrong way. That right there is 48 foot-pounds. I put the wheel back on. Now I'm not going to impact these tight. I'm just going to lower my impact power and then snug them up. And then I'll torque them when I let the car down. Alright, we're going to put on the correct serpentine belt for this car. Now that other sway bar link that I mentioned was broken. This is what it was. See, it's just a ball and a socket. It's in the plastic, and it just eventually wears out the plastic and comes out. Pretty stupid design, but yeah. So that's why I replaced those. Alright, we're going to take off the air box, and then that mount, and then we can get the belt off. 7mm. And pop this safety clip back, and then push down on it, and wiggle. It should come right off. This comes right out. There's a little drain hose that goes in here. It's right here. So you can see that. And then we got to take off. There's 3 on the top and then 1 on each side here. 15mm. And I don't want to take it all the way off without putting a jack underneath the motor so it doesn't fall. If you need to replace your motor mount, you can. This one looks pretty good though. I don't see any big cracking through here, so we got to take off the other part of the mount because that runs, the belt runs through the middle of it. I can't fit my impact down in there, so I'm going to break it loose with a breaker bar. You can also see the oil leaks that I was fixing. See when I replaced those O-rings because it's dripping down. See all the oil down there? Same with this one here. Wasn't as bad, but see all that oil. Now let me show you something. This was at a shop for the oil leak. And you know what they did? They put engine oil dye in it, 330 of 26. Right now is 6/7 of 26, so 2 months later, 3 months. But this car also sat for a while because I got it at auction, so. They put engine oil dye in the oil so they could see where the oil leak was. The problem is, if you don't degrease it, you aren't going to see where the oil leak is because it's all covered in oil. So whoever charged this person just ripped them off. You need to degrease it, then put the dye in, have them drive it, have them come back, and then you can see where the dye is leaking from. All you're going to see is oil everywhere. Stupid. So this is the tensioner right here. So I am going to get an e-Torx on here, and I should be able to push the tensioner the opposite way to give it some slack, and I can pop this off. Works good if you have some leverage with a breaker bar. There you go. Righty-tighty loosens it up. And we can pop this off. That's why you need to replace your belt. They crack and then eventually they'll start coming apart and break on you. And then you get stranded on the side of the road and the water pump will quit running if it's ran by the belt, and then your car starts overheating before you realize. You also get your alternator light on. And I'm just going to take both of them, stretch them out here and see if they're about the same, which they are. So I'm going to vacuum up this crap right here and then put the mount on and the airbox back on. And we will be done with this for today. All right, so it's 37 foot-pounds for these three, plus 60 to 70 degrees of a turn. And then for the mount to the body is 46 foot-pounds. And then we can put the other part of the mount to the body on. I'm going to put my Milwaukee on number 2. Running correctly and the belt doesn't jump off for some reason. So I bought one of these paintless dent repair kits. It's got some suction cups, which looked way bigger in the picture. I'll try to pop out this dent right here. Spray it down with some soap and water. Think I gotta like spit on these or something? I'll do one and see what happens. I didn't read the directions, so who knows? Look at that. No way! Ah! Ha! Like new! Alright, here's another one. We'll see if it works on this guy. You can see it's mainly just this big indent here. I mean, it's kind of, the paint's cracked and stuff right here and a little creased. I don't really care about that. So let's put this right here and see what happens. Oh, that didn't work. Maybe I gotta put some more spit on it. Spit on that thing. So the microphone got messed up on this clip, but with this kit you get this giant hot glue gun with this special glue, and you just heat it up, and once it's hot enough it'll flow out onto these little tabs, and then you can push them onto the car and you can get them to harden, and then you remove the glue with alcohol. So it's a pretty nice setup, but as you can see, It takes a lot of patience to do it right. So I'm going to put 2 on here, and then I'm going to try to pull them with this puller. Slide this in there. And I guess we'll just move the feet out. That didn't work. Maybe I gotta wipe it with alcohol first or something. Alright, let's try to see if this... I just put 99.9% alcohol in here from my 3D printer. Oops. Alright. Came right off, didn't leave a dent or anything. Alright, so we gotta fix the window. When you put it on automatic, it gets caught right here. I think it's out of the tracks. Screw under this cover here, and a screw under this cover, and it pops off. So this little plastic piece, throw it in here. This other one here, little pocket screwdriver, pop it out. It's held in with clips. And then we need some Torx, because GM loves to use Torx for some reason. T15. And this here cover, you just pull it off. It's just got two. You can grab on the edges, it should pop up. And slide off like that. The window's down there, but it's on the outside of this rubber piece right here. So I need to get it in the middle of this rubber piece right here, because it is on the outside. Loosen the window and shimmy it over. So this here plastic just comes off. They used to have like black crap on it, but they don't have that anymore. So I need to raise the window up so I can get the bolts to these holes right here so I can loosen the window. Because when I got this, the window wasn't even hooked in. We're gonna loosen that one. Loosen that one. Alright, so the motor moved down. I'll just leave that hang there. So the window isn't connected. So I can actually take it out. So I got the window out, see? Now I gotta slide it back in, but get it in the right groove here. Just making sure I'm not pinching the outside weather stripping here. There's two clamps and there's a bolt that goes through it. So the window comes here, and you tighten the bolt, and then these little rubber feet grab onto it, and then that moves the window up and down. The window's in there, so now I can tighten it. Now let's see if it works. Haha! Got it! Bajinga! Success! There we go. Some of these clips are broken, so I'm going to replace them. So the door panel isn't loose. I don't really get in this groove on top, and then it's pretty good. And you should be able to just push all these pins in that are around. Put these on. One last try. Excellent. I was just moving this outside to degrease it, and I heard some weird noise. And remember, the other belt had a piece of it on each side was missing, and I thought it was just the wrong belt. Well, look at this. This one's shredding already. Why is the belt shredding? Thought I smelt some kind of rubbery burning. Looks to me like the belt is not riding on the tensioner all the way. It's like way off on half of it. So maybe that tensioner's bad. I'm gonna have to take the belt off. I should have spun each of the pulleys before I put it back together. Yeah, you can see there's all kinds of like plastic pieces right down there and down there, see? All right, well, I will order another belt and a tensioner probably. Dang. Okay. Always surprises. Well, since I got all the oil leaks fixed, now I'm gonna pressure wash the engine bay. I sprayed degreaser all over it, let it sit for about 10 minutes. Time to pressure wash. Alright, so this mirror cover I got on this new mirror is black, and the other one's red, and the car's red. So I can't figure out how to get it off without breaking it, so I'm just gonna paint it on the car. So I'm gonna tape off the other part of the mirror. It's got a red scuff pad here. I got a semi-clean rag and some of this ammonia-free glass cleaner. Works great. Some custom hot rod red color mixed up. It's called Majestic Red. It's Rust-Oleum, you know. It looks like the same. I took a chunk of the paint that was falling off the bottom and matched it up. That's how you get exact color you need. Now I put some clear coat on top of the face. Alright, I got this Cruze back in the shop. Waiting for Amazon to deliver the belt and the tensioner so we can replace that again. So it quits shredding the belts. But while I'm waiting for Amazon to arrive within the next 4 hours, I'm going to do a little paint repair. Just touch up a couple spots where it's got scratches or piece missing there. There's right under there, there's some missing. I swear somebody like drove over a big curb and just crunched it. So I'm going to touch up those spots. This mirror turned out great. Looks like it's factory color. The other thing, I'm not going to pull out this rocker because this car isn't worth that much work, but it's got a little surface rust on it from the paint cracking. So I'm going to sand all this down, get all the loose paint off, and then spray the same red spray paint over it just to make sure that it doesn't rust through. I've ran my ozone generator in here twice now. I think I ran it for an hour each time because it smelled like cigarettes. And it's still, when it sits outside in the sun, it still has that smell a little bit. So I'm gonna, once I get the belt fixed, I'm gonna run the ozone generator in here for 2 hours, but I'm gonna have the car running for an hour so that it circulates through the vents, and maybe that will help. I also sprayed the whole interior with Lysol, so even though I stripped all the interior out and pressure washed and cleaned it, it's still got this smell a little bit, which I hate the smell of cigarettes, so it bothers me. But I know, you guys are already saying that's the most terrible paint job ever. It wasn't a paint job. It was just a cover so it prevents some more rust. As you can see, it already had a rust hole from the inside, so it's just a temporary fix to make it aesthetically pleasing, okay? Now, I just got a notification that Amazon truck is 10 stops away. Tear out this motor mount and the belt and the tensioner so that when it gets here, we can throw it back in, and hopefully that's the last thing we're fixing on this car. Besides, I'm gonna run the ozone generator in there for a while. And then it's done. So hopefully the title shows up in a couple days and get this piece of junk out of my driveway. So I'm gonna do a time lapse on this one because I just showed you recently how to do it the first time. Alright, perfect timing. I just got it off, and Amazon just showed up. Well, let me show you this. Like, look at these people working here. That's all that was in that box. This and some paper. Like, did you not have any smaller boxes or something? Like, who do they have working here? My gosh. Anyways, we got some lube. I gotta lube stuff up now. Alright, so this is the old one I took off. And the only thing I noticed, like, the bearing doesn't feel bad, but look at, there's a big groove in it. And it looks like it's from the... Looks like it's from the belt rubbing on it, really. And this is the new one, which has this weird pin in there, but I think it's supposed to be in there. No groove, so... So we will put the new one in. And I don't think it came with any instructions. Got a new belt though, so. And all these other pulleys, like alternator feels good. Water pump feels good. AC feels good. Oh, the crank's real good. So I don't see anything else besides just the tensioner. Although this bolt here was kind of loose. So the bolt that was in there is longer than the one that's with the new one. Because if I put the bolts next to each other, there's about a 1/4 inch difference. So this one also looks like somebody lubed it up at one point with... I thought that was white lithium grease, but it's like glue. It's hard as a rock. So maybe someone had it off and messed with it and put the wrong bolt in or something, but this bolt is really long, so I don't know. Looks like trash to me. I'm gonna do a time lapse putting that in, the new belt, putting it back together, and we'll see if it self-destructs. Alright, I think I figured out why the tensioner was worn and the belt was stripping. So check this out. So the belt they sent me is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 ribs, okay? The alternator has 5 ribs. It's sitting perfectly where it should be. Looks good. The water pump is for 6 ribs. See, the belt is like a short one. Now look at the AC condenser. See, it's perfect right there. Now look at the crank. The crank has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 ribs. So the crank and the water pump are the same, and the AC compressor and the alternator are the same. So did somebody put this motor together with parts from 2 different motors? Because I had the bigger belt on, the 6 belt, the 6 rib one, and it stripped both sides off, which would make sense because it was too wide for the alternator and too wide for the AC compressor. And this is the one that came with the tensioner. So apparently this belt is the right one for the car, but it's just gonna have 1 rib short on these 2, which doesn't really matter as long as it stays intact. So yeah, I think somebody hodgepodged this engine together at some point. And I also removed that pin that was in here because when I put the belt on, the pin was all loose in there, but it is twisted, so it shouldn't like go through the hole because it'll catch it. So yeah, I guess I figured out why stuff wasn't working right, because somebody put different parts together. So let's just put it all back together. It should work. Alright, got the Cruze all finished up yesterday, so I took it to the car wash. Little tip for you guys if you're flipping cars: if you have holiday car wash gas stations next to you, get their monthly subscription and you can wash your car at least once a day. It used to be able, you could wash it multiple times a day. And it's just from your phone, so you can use it for, I wash every car here. I just pay one monthly fee. As you can see, the thing is idling perfect, no weird noises. It's running great, no check engine lights. AC is nice and cold. After running the ozone generator in here, I had the car running for an hour while I ran the ozone generator, and then I turned the car off, and then I ran it for another hour, and then I let it air out overnight, and it doesn't smell like smoke or cigarettes at all now. So this is actually very pleasing to sit in. So if you got weird smells, get an ozone generator. But after I wash it here, I'm gonna go take pics, and then I'm gonna put it up for sale.